Hi guys, Mike here again with Chapter 9 of the Sussex Coast Road, Worthing and its suburbs. Between Lancing and Goring, we find King George III's favorite seaside resort, a unique memorial, a site rivaling the Sistine Chapel, and much more. Come on along and explore this part of the A259 with me. When leaving Shoreham, it is hard not to notice Lancing College Chapel on the hill above. The college was founded in 1848 as an English public school. The Grade 1 listed chapel was started in 1863 and finally completed in 2022. A west tower may be started in 2024 after 150 years of planning. The village of Lancing was another of the 18th century seaside resorts favored by the gentry who wanted a place that offered peace and quiet. The shingle beach stretches for miles and offers a lovely spot to spend the summer. The farmlands around the village were very popular for supplying fruits and vegetables for Brighton Market and London's Covent Gardens. With frequent and easy access, it has now become a bedroom community for many who work in London. Unfortunately, there is little left of the old village. On the route of an old Roman road, there are remains of ancient forts above the village which offer us views over the town, the downs, and the channel. Following the A259 along the beach, past Brooklands Park and Lake, we come to Worthing, which has absorbed most of Lancing. The area around Worthing has seen human activity since the Bronze Age. There are traces of a flint mine nearby, and if we look up at the highest hills on the downs to the north, we can see the hill forts used until Roman times. The original settlement was a tiny fishing village of fewer than 100 people. It took until the 18th century to reach 2,000 inhabitants, and that was due to the new fad for healthy sea air. In the mid-18th century, developers started building seafront homes for the wealthy of the time. What really kicked it off was when in 1798 King George III's daughter, Princess Amelia, spent time bathing in the sea at Worthing while recuperating from pain in her knee joint. The king would not let his daughter stay in Brighton, as it was considered too racy. So the more genteel built their seaside homes in this quickly expanding community. It is now only second to Brighton for size, with a current population of over 110,000. It seems to be in constant competition with its larger sister just down the coast. As we approach central Worthing, the A259 veers slightly inland away from the coast. In a quarter mile, we cannot miss the Grade 2 listed Regency-style beach house villa with its interesting history. Built around 1820, it has been owned and lived in by the head of the first London police force, the Bow Street Runners, an MP, a playwright, and other various lords and ladies. King Edward VII stayed here at least 10 times on his visits to Worthing. In 1937, it became the home to 60 Spanish children evacuated during the Civil War, and later to the Air Corps during World War II. The grounds down the beach were purchased by Worthing Council in 1927 for public use. Just across the road is the Beach House Park. These nearly 10 acres of land were bought by the council and converted to a public park in the 1920s. The back part is used as bowling green, but the interesting part is in the front. A beautiful formal garden is maintained with a memorial in the center. It's not for soldiers, but for warrior birds. It was dedicated in 1950 to the pigeons that died in World War II in service of the military. Different. Another quarter mile gets us to the town center. The road here comes to a T-junction with pedestrianized shopping in front of us. Turning right follows the A259, but we want to stick to the coast, so we turn left and follow the gardens down to Marine Parade. Here we find Steyne Gardens, which is the town center park. It is a lovely open green space running down to the sea, with classic apartment buildings and hotels around it. This open square is used frequently for festivals and fairs. From November to the end of February, the city erects a covered ice rink at the north end of the garden. A short distance along the seafront, we come upon Worthing's award-winning Pier. In 2019, it won the Pier of the Year award for the second time because it was so well maintained by the Worthing Council. This Grade II Art Deco structure, as with most piers along the coast, have had its shares of ups and downs. Originally opened in 1862, it became very popular with tourists. To celebrate Queen Victoria's Jubilee, the pier was cleaned up and a pavilion was added to the end of it. Over the years, this building has been used as a ballroom, a theater, a restaurant, and a nightclub. The middle section was destroyed by the Easter storm of 1913, but was quickly rebuilt. It too, like most of the Channel Coast piers during World War II, suffered the indignation of having the deck in the middle removed to prevent it from being used in a German invasion. Today it still attracts thousands of tourists and locals for a peaceful stroll on a sunny day. Just at the entrance of the pier is one of the 3 theaters and the museum run by the local council. The Pavillion Theatre is a lovely domed structure, opened in 1926. It contains a cafe and bar and hosts entertainment with everything from pantomimes to burlesque to musicals and circuses. The other 2 theaters, the Connaught and the Dome, also provide entertainment with beautifully styled and decorated buildings. The cultural scene in Worthing has been and still is very active. There are many reasons people prefer Worthing over Brighton. The biggest is that it's not Brighton. The larger city offers excitement and activity, while the little sister is quieter and offers a more relaxed and affordable lifestyle. There's always a nice, quiet spot on Worthing's beach. Shopping is easier, and we found lots of places to park. Cost of living is lower, and there's less crime, and that is great if you have a family. Following the Marine Parade for a mile, we pass the expected, now familiar white Regency and Victorian seaside beach homes erected by the wealthy, and they have been converted to apartments, small hotels, and restaurants with pleasant views of the beach and channel. Another quarter mile along, this drive gets us past some new apartments and houses. At the bottom of Grand Avenue on the beach side, it's a memorial to the thousands of Canadian soldiers stationed here during World War II. Next on the right, we see the very popular Marine Gardens, a lovely place to stop and enjoy the formal gardens and a cup of coffee. Following the coast, we come to Marine Crescent, now in the beautifully laid out housing of the Worthing suburb of Goring by Sea. Goring became Goring by Sea in 1908, so as not to be confused with Goring on Thames. Streets and houses are laid out quite symmetrically from the semicircular park in the center above the shingle beach. This quiet town is not without its interesting points. We stick to the coast, and it's miles of beach. When we come to the roundabout at Sea Lane, we turn right and follow this pleasant street with trees down the middle boulevard for about a mile. At the next roundabout, we again turn right. The huge oak trees on our left and around the church are Mediterranean home oaks, planted here in the 19th century. The A259 is directly in front of us, and we turn left and continue for half a mile where we find the English Martyrs Catholic Church, with a fascinating feature. If you want to see the ceiling painted in the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City, we can do it here. The ceiling of the church has a 2/3 scale reproduction of the one in Rome. A sign painter parishioner spent 5.5 years painting this marvelous sight. The paintings are overwhelming and can cause a neck ache from studying them. West from the church, we follow the A259 and head for our first destination in the next chapter, the village of Ferry. I hope you have enjoyed exploring this bit of Sussex coast. Take a look at some of the previous chapters for more information about this corner of England. If you're interested in the book this is based on, the link is in the description below. Please press the like button and share this with your friends. Please also subscribe to be notified about the release of the next chapter. Bye for now.